Hey, food explorers, welcome to this week's episode. It is a beautiful day out today. I'm Colleen, your host, as always, and we are going to do a couple of fun things today on the episode. I hope everybody had a great long weekend. If you had the long weekend, so in Alberta, we had August long weekend. I don't actually know what the official why it's August long weekend. It's a day off for people. Not a day off for me. I have no days off. I don't know who has days off out there. I am not one of them. I finished teaching my entrepreneurship course on Friday. My amazing students surprised me with this fantastic lunch. But I have to admit, I did it wrong. So they said we made you Indian tacos, and I was like, I don't know what that is. So there was bags of Doritos, and there was homemade chili. So one of my students, her husband, made chili, and then the other students had all pitched in and got all the toppings. And my one student says, "Oh, we need scissors to cut open the bags of Doritos." And I was like, "Oh, that's weird. Why don't we just open the bags of Doritos?" I start putting the chili on my plate, and they all looked at me and they're like, "You're doing it wrong." I was like, "Oh, what am I supposed to do?" Here's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to cut lengthwise the bag of Doritos open. You squish them up a little bit, and then you put the chili in the bag, and then you put all the toppings on top. I didn't know this. I made myself a plate. So we had a good giggle about it. I'm the teacher, but I have no idea about this. And then they surprised me. So the one student made cherry pies. Unbeknownst to her, cherry pie is actually my favorite pie. So we actually shared some of the cherry pie with one of our favorite chefs at Kalina to Go, Ashley. We love her. And my dad got a piece of the cherry pie. And then I'm actually not home right now. I'll tell you where I'm at. I'm gone again. But when I got home today, because I wanted to record the episode, Jason's like, "Please take this last piece of cherry pie with you." So he actually managed to save a piece and not eat it. So Christy of Omioso Creations made this cherry pie, and it was so good. It wasn't too sweet. It wasn't too, sometimes pie crust is weird. It was perfect. So I will be taking that last piece of cherry pie back with me. Where am I? I feel like every week we should have "Where in the World is Colleen?" Not at home. That's for sure. I'm dog sitting. And if you're like, "You're dog sitting," I actually dog sit and cat sit quite a bit. One, because I travel so much. I don't have any pets at my house right now, and it makes me very sad because pets are the best and everybody should have 14 dogs. And so that's the goal eventually, to live out on a farm and have a whole bunch of dogs and cats. But until that point, I am dog sitting. So I'm dog sitting this funny little dog. Her name is Twyla. But I'm on the south side of the city right now. So the benefit to that is my favorite coffee shop, Square One, is within walking distance of where I'm dog sitting. The universe has aligned and said, "Colleen, you need coffee all the time." And yeah, I was already there yesterday. So, and I'm going there again today. I'm being straight with you. I love going to Square One Coffee. It's delightful. So I am dog sitting. I am then going to be home for an entire 12 hours. And then we're going to my entrepreneurship students, their last day of class. I tried to keep it a secret that I was going to come and surprise them. They figured me out. I'm very transparent. I can't keep a secret. They also gave me gifts on my last day, and I cried because it was so thoughtful and so nice. The whole experience was just super duper fantastic. Teaching entrepreneurship, being able to help people get their businesses set up. Holy heck, it is fun. And so many weird challenges, like things that you wouldn't think of when you're running a business or setting up a business. Like anybody out there that has a business, just getting a Google My Business account. That's the easiest thing in the world, right? No, If you only have a P.O. box as an address, it's not. Google My Business does not like a P.O. box. So just random weird things. So I'll be home for 12 hours and then we're going to go to my students' actual last day graduation. I have a couple surprises for them. And then Jason and I are actually going to go to Canmore. Now, the reason I'm telling you this, if you're like, get to it, Colleen, this is all about Food Explorer. What food are we exploring today? We are exploring some food today, but I have to tell you this because Open Farm Days, so in Alberta, I've talked about Open Farm Days a couple times. Open Farm Days is the 17th and the 18th of August. We're going to be in Canmore. Not a ton of agriculture and farms in the area, but I'm going to see if I can find us something to do on that weekend. So I still have to go and look. But there also is an event called, I'm pretty sure it's called Alberta on a Plate. I think it's called Alberta on a Plate. It's happening the 9th to the, I think it's 16th of August. So we're going to be there the 15th to the 19th. So I'm going to see what I can find. I know there is a couple of things that are happening with that sort of event in Canmore, which is where we're going to be. My favorite place in the world, Canmore, besides Spain, because we're going to move to Spain. We'll talk about that later, though. But with Canmore, I know there's 2 restaurants, but they're really spendy restaurants. So I don't know that we're going to participate in those events, but we're going to try and find something. Because I really wanted to do Open Farm Days this year, but I also really need to go away and have just a wee little break. I have started counting my calendar down. I gotta tell you, everyone, I am attempting to not panic. And if you're thinking, what on earth would you be panicking about? Well, my other job is chocolatier. I'm going to be teaching another hospitality course September and October. And then I got to get advent calendars ready, which means that's 5,000 chocolates for advent calendars. I haven't gotten stuff done yet, and it should already be done. So this week is kind of the push. So I'm meeting with my guy today who does my boxes for the calendars. He does all my labeling. So we're going to sit and have a little brainstorm session today and chat about advent calendars, because that is a huge undertaking for us. It's kind of all hands on deck. It's a lot of chocolate and a very short period of time to get it done. We actually start selling them right after Canadian Thanksgiving, and so they're gone very quickly, but then it's okay, now we have to get all the chocolates made, get it all put into the boxes, which takes just as much time as it does to make the chocolates. I think a lot of people don't equate, you make the thing, the thing then has to go into a vessel of some sort, cello packaging, boxes, something has to happen so that you can, give it to the consumer instead of just handing them a piece of chocolate being like, here you go. It doesn't work that way. So I started counting down my days, realizing all the days that I'm not going to be here because I'm going to be teaching, realizing all the days that are travel days because we have 4 weekends in a row for the Banff Christmas market this year. So we have a lot of travel days going back and forth to Banff. Yes, we go back and forth every week. I have to get all of the chocolate bars for our OG, our original comfort collection. We got to start getting those made. And we actually did a poll the other day and asked people, hey, what do you think about some milk chocolate? Because I don't like milk chocolate, but I have really, really good milk chocolate. And we got a lot of people that were like, yes, please get us the milk chocolate. We would love to have that. So we're going to actually, for the first time this year, have milk chocolate as a chocolate bar. I have some ideas. We're going to run it past our super fans and see what they like. But I realized the other day that I actually have 10 kilos of milk chocolate. And that's going to really help because in a previous video and in a previous Substack article, we talked about what's happened with chocolate pricing going up through the roof. I actually asked our wholesaler, hey, just for kicks and giggles, what's the price of chocolate right now? A few months after I bought sort of what I hope will be my chocolate for Christmas time. And yep, already massively inflated pricing. I've seen a few things lately called greedflation. I have to research more into this. I feel like we're kind of we're treading into territory in some avenues of food lately with the greedflation. I realize with the chocolate pricing has gone up because of chocolate futures. And a chocolatier friend of mine were chatting the other day, and she's like, could they leave chocolate alone? I'm like, right, go back to bug and cauliflower. Remember when cauliflower was $8 for a head of cauliflower? Go back to cauliflower and leave chocolate alone. I need to get through one more holiday season of chocolate, and then we got to decide what we're going to do, because this is just when you spend a month teaching entrepreneurs and teaching them how to analyze their business and make smart business decisions, and then you're looking at your chocolate business going, well, this is failing. Why am I doing this? This is not working. So we're going to make some decisions in the new year, but we do want to do the advent calendars. And I mean, honestly, the Banff Christmas market is just so much fun because we get to see all of our vendor friends and all of our customers. We have customers that come from Florida to see us. I mean, we love these people. So that's kind of what's going on. It's kind of a lot. There's always a lot going on. And because I'm not at home right now, it's like this back and forth. So I took the dog out this morning. I'm like, I just need you to do your thing so I can leave the house. So she's a funny little dog. I did say last week that I was going to talk about weird foods from fairs, festivals, carnivals, things like in Canada here in Alberta, we have Stampede and we have K-Days. And I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about weird foods. And then I was thinking about it. Why do I want to give airtime to weird foods that are obscene, gross, not nutritious, and kind of just like these Frankenstein foods? And so as I was thinking about, I started compiling the list, and I was getting grossed out compiling the list of all the disgusting things that were at sort of the featured fair foods this year. And I realize in the United States, you guys still have a few more weeks of like country fair, and all these kind of like carnivals and festivals and stuff. But I was like, nope, I do not want to give these weird foods any airtime. So if you were looking forward to that, I apologize. You can send me an email. Just kidding. You can't. You can send me an Instagram message, though, I guess, if you're upset about it. But no, I don't want to talk about those foods. I do want to talk about, I went to Farmhouse Bakery last week, and we wrote a fantastic article about the Farmhouse Bakery. So they are a family-owned bakery. We eat all of their stuff. We absolutely love the family. And so where I was staying, I was just a couple kilometers away. The heat wave broke. We had a beautiful day. So after teaching one day, I went out to the Crouse family farm, so the Farmhouse Bakery. It's right out by Bittern Lake. So if you're in Alberta, sort of central Alberta, just off of Highway 13 between Wetaskiwin and Canmore. I was listening to somebody the other day, and he was talking about things to do in Edmonton, and on his list he had the Reynolds Museum, which is in Wetaskiwin, and he called it Weestawean or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the wrong pronunciation. And then our favorite murder show that we watch, because we watch a murder show, he was talking about something that happened in Leduc. We always jokingly call it Leduc because I have Irish Siri on my phone, and Irish Siri calls it Leduc. And the guy on our favorite murder show said, in Leduc, Alberta, we just about died laughing. We were like, oh my gosh, is he making a funny, or is like, I think that's how they actually pronounce it. So it's Leduc, Alberta. Anyways, I digress. I went to the Farmhouse Bakery, got to spend time with head baker, owner Nadine. We had a lovely conversation, and we actually took that conversation and we made that into a Substack article, basically like interview style Substack article. So I will link that below. I did save a few things from our interview, so I'm going to do another episode on YouTube making Nadine's favorite Saskatoon berry recipe. And with that, we have to talk and eat some Saskatoons. So the week prior and last week, I went twice. No, I went 3 times to Hillberry Saskatoon Farm. And at Hillberry Farm, they have Saskatoons. They have 3 cultivars of Saskatoons. So that's basically like different types of Saskatoons. Think of it like if you had cherry tomatoes and you had Roma tomatoes and you had grape tomatoes, right? All little tiny types of tomatoes. They're all tomatoes, smaller versions of tomatoes. And so I went and I picked Northline, Honeywood, and smoky species of Saskatoons. I brought them home. I got bags of each of them. So I'm actually going to make Nadine from Farmhouse Bakery told me what her favorite way is to have Saskatoons. So I thought it'd be fun to recreate what her favorite recipe is. I just sent Jason to the store and he is getting some cream. I'm going to have some coffee. Whew. Gosh, I love coffee. I love this coffee. I'm just saying. Delicious. So with the 3 different species of Saskatoons, so the interesting thing is the Honeywood and the Smoky type are a smaller berry than our Northline ones are. They each have a very different flavor. And it's funny because if you're just eating them on their own, you might not notice sort of all the nuances in flavor between each of them. And I started thinking about this the other day, and it reminded me that I had a project. I wanted to start it probably last year. I wanted to start this project, but it stems from something way further back. So in 2016, I watched a movie at a food film festival. And the movie was called The Empire of Scents. So like your senses, scent. And it was about how our sense of smell is very important for us, for not only tasting food, but bringing up memories. You know, you smell a perfume that your grandma wore and suddenly you remember your grandma. And in the movie, they had some senior citizens and they had given them some different smells from their childhood. And some of these senior citizens had dementia. And it was so interesting because just smelling something from their childhood, they were right back there, right back as being a child. The one was like singing songs from when she was a little girl. It was really cool. So we always joke that I'm a super taster, but then I was like, I can taste a lot of things and I can pull a lot of flavors out of food, but am I an actual super taster? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a whole series on testing me. I shall be the guinea pig, and I might rope a few other people into helping me out with this, but you can get test kits to find out if you are a super taster, and there's a few other things that you can do. So we're going to go through all of these things for being a super taster. So it's basically you're a super taster, a taster, or a non-taster. Wah, wah. I'd hate to be a non-taster. Lord knows I could taste a lot of things. But when I was reading the description for a super taster, super tasters typically really dislike bitter foods. And I love bitter foods. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not a super taster. So we're going to do a couple fun things. But then I was down a 5-hour rabbit hole yesterday, you guys. So I was looking at different people that work in sensory perception and that are sensory scientists and taste testers, like professional taste testers. So it's not like sit and you stuff yourself full of chocolate every day. It's trying to figure out, are there off flavors? Has the oil that's in this, whatever it is you're eating, gone rancid? and you have to be really in tuned. And it was so interesting reading all this different research and articles about people that are professional taste testers and how they've trained their palate. And I'm reading a book right now called Cork Dork, and it's about a woman who is training to become a sommelier and kind of all that. So all of this sort of kind of started coming together. And I remembered that I wanted to write some articles about food memories. So a lot of what I talk about on this channel and a lot of what I have on my Substack that I do with Jason is a lot about like food memories and thinking about the first time you ate something, or when you eat something and you think about, oh, when I was a kid, my dad used to make, and all these things. And so we're going to put together some articles about food memories. And I'm going to do a whole thing about being a super taster and training your palate. And it is so interesting, the different things and techniques that you need to do to train up your palate. So I was just telling Jason, one of the things you do is you'll smell like an essential oil, which is a pure scent. Say it's rosemary. And then you have to create a sensory memory of it. So he just lost his mind because he has aphantasia, which is where he can't, like, if you say picture an elephant, like he can't. So any kind of memories like that are just completely lost to him. So he just laughed out loud that would never be something he could do. But for me, I can remember things, and even a lot of times with the chocolate recipes that I make, because I'm that person that doesn't write the recipes down, but I remember what it tastes like, and then I just make it again. All of that is to say, let's eat some saskatoons. This is the honeywood species, and so they are smaller than our north line. So one of the things that people don't like about saskatoons is that they do have some seeds, and they have these little crowns on them. But, wow, with this honeywood species, yeah, they do have the crown, and they do have sort of that texture to them, which I totally get why people don't like it so much. For me, it's not my favorite of all the berries, but this has a delightful, it's a very, and this is why I want to start doing this super tasting, because I don't have the lexicon for the words that I want to use to describe this. When this hits my tongue, I think sweet, honey, but also very fresh. It's juicy in sort of not a grape juice way, but in a just refreshing, I had something nice to drink kind of a way. It's very, like, as soon as it gets into your mouth, it's just this nice bit of juice with the honey flavors behind it. So really quite a delightful type of Saskatoon berry to eat. The next one that I'm going to eat is the Smokies. So the Smokies are a little bit bigger in size than the Honeywood. The Honeywood are the smallest of them. And the Smokies, I quite liked them when I had them. Oh yeah. So this one now has more of that floral spicy notes. Not spicy in a heat way, but spicy in sort of your nutmeg, cinnamon, warming spices kind of way. Less juicy than the Honeywood. Even though the Honeywood are smaller, these ones don't have that nice pop of juice when you bite into them. A nice kind of, there's like a nice floral kind of note to them, and really quite delicious. So, that's a good one. It might be my favorite one, but we're going to try the North Line now. So the North Line, much, much bigger. North Line, if you have eaten Saskatoons before, you're going to say, that's a Saskatoon berry. So this is kind of your classic, which most Saskatoon farms, if you go to them or if you buy Saskatoons at a farmer's market, this is going to be the species that you have. Wow. First thing I get, lots of grassy notes, like really, really grassy notes. Not in a bad way. I actually like grassy notes. I would say of the three, this one has the least amount of liquidy juiciness to it. So the honey would be the juiciest, then the smoky, then the Northline. Yeah, it's good. Obviously, it's a regular, it's what you think of as a Saskatoon. But out of the three, you know what? I think I might change my mind. I thought that the smoky was going to be my favorite. Yeah, the honeywood's my favorite. That pop of honey flavor and that juiciness in eating that berry, that makes me happy. That's a good one. So very different species, different sizes between them. And, definitely the honeywood are the smallest compared to these big fat Northline ones. So I've been sharing Saskatoons around with everybody because there's just so many of them to enjoy. But I'm going to make a little recipe with them a little bit. I'll have that up on the YouTube later. With that, what do we got coming up next week? I'm going to be a guest on a podcast on Friday. So I'll put somewhere in our social media that we're a guest. We're going to be on sort of a business podcast. So I'm quite excited about that. And what else have I got coming up? The 5th Gen Farms. She's smoking busy right now. So we are going to be doing the interview with her. More than likely, it's going to be closer to when her book comes out and things are a little bit slower on the farm for her. So that is also coming up, which I am very much looking forward to. So we're going to wrap this up today. I hope wherever you're at, you're having the most wonderful day. Maybe you got some nice sunshine. It's the perfect temperature today. It's going to be about 21 degrees. That is the perfect temperature. Anything over 30, I'm unhappy. I'm sweating. I'm gross. So right around 20-ish, 23 degrees is a delight. Please make sure you subscribe. Tell all your friends because there's always something happening here. And like I said, we're going to start this Supertaster series. I'm actually going to order, it's called Prop, and it's some very long scientific name. But apparently when you put it on your tongue, you'll either have no reaction, you'll have a, ooh, that's gross reaction, or you'll have that's vile reaction. So I'll record that and we'll see where I fall in the spectrum of tasting Supertaster status. Have a great day, everybody, and I will see you, or you will hear me on the next episode of the Food Explorer podcast. Thanks.